We're kicking off today's program with insights from two of our outstanding host sponsors who will be showcasing the very best of their institutions. First up, representing the Georgia Institute of Technology, please join me in welcoming Siva Sivakumar, FNAI Fellow, Vice President of Commercialization and Chief Commercialization Officer, Georgia Institute of Technology. Welcome, Siva.
Okay, let's see. I think there is a video. Okay.
Technologies are important for delivering value in the real world. You need talent to take the technologies and deliver real-world impact. And that's where I think a place like Georgia Tech has a tremendous advantage. Commercialization is the creation of impact based on the innovation that is being created on campus.
When I was here at Georgia Tech, I started the process of creating an LLC and starting to develop IP. We use a lot of the programs here at Georgia Tech to continue to develop that IP and understand how to make it match market needs more. Georgia Tech provided the tools, the people, the resources to unlock that potential.
There are 30 plus units on campus that offer some kind of resources for the commercialization pathway. Everything from funding to coaching to access to human resources to space.
I came to Georgia Tech because I wanted to commercialize my research, and I found these to be very unique and powerful resources in that they could help you do commercialization discovery as a faculty member.
Entrepreneurial confidence for us at Georgia Tech is a life skill that we want every faculty, student, and staff member to have. We have the right human ingredients in order to achieve the vision that we have to redefine what commercialization means in an academic environment and to be the #1 university for creating positive impact through technologies and talent.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and welcome to Atlanta for those of you who are not from Atlanta. I know we are living up to our name to being Hotlanta this week. I saw today it's going to get to 98 degrees. I tell people I'm originally from a city called Chennai in southern India, and Chennai can get very hot and humid, and this is one part of Chennai that I don't miss, the heat and the humidity. But hopefully the temperature doesn't keep you away from exploring what I think is an amazing, amazing city. Please do get out there. And it's an extremely diverse city, and you will find whatever you are interested in. I wanted to say a few words about commercialization. We are incredibly proud to be a sponsor of the FNAI conference, and we think at Georgia Tech that universities are going through a point in time. If some of you are history nerds of universities, in the early 1800s, universities largely used to be centers of excellence for teaching, right? For knowledge sharing for 700 years. That's what universities were. And then the Humboldt University of Berlin came along and redefined what universities ended up becoming, which is research and teaching universities. So not just centers of excellence for knowledge sharing, but centers of excellence for knowledge discovery as well. And then Johns Hopkins here in the US sort of was the first prototypical university that did both research and teaching. We think we are at a point in time where universities are going through this third phase of evolution, where universities are aspiring, rightfully so, to be centers of excellence for impact. So it's not just knowledge discovery, knowledge sharing, but we want to create impact through the talent and technologies that are developed. And we at Georgia Tech are doing our bit to get there. And I have a few slides. So one, we are right in the middle of a 10-year strategic plan at Georgia Tech. So there are 4 big bets that we have placed for ourselves. And you can see that the first 2 big bets are around educational outcomes. So we want to be a national leader in terms of outcomes for our students. We want to double the number of degrees granted and non-degree learners. We just launched a new college of lifetime learning. But specific to this conference, if you look at Big Bets 3 and 4, we are really doubling down on increasing and amplifying the scale and impact of our research. So last year, Georgia Tech did about $1.4 billion worth of research. We are the largest non-medical university in the country from a research expenditure standpoint, and we want to do significantly more and create impact through the research that we're doing. And number 4, I talked about Atlanta a bit. We want to enable Atlanta to become a national hub for innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So these are 2 things that we are really laser focused on. And maybe I'll double click on the number 4, which is how do we get Atlanta to become a national hub? And you can, all this is available, publicly accessible, so I won't spend too much time on this, but a couple of things that I'll call out. One, we think we get to be a national hub for creativity and entrepreneurship if we can launch 1,000 startups a year from within Georgia Tech. So that's the goal that we've set for ourselves. We are not close to that goal yet. This year we'll do about 150 startups that are founded by our students and faculty, but we think we can get to 1,000 startups a year. And we think that's the scale that we need to be operating at. And second, we are the Georgia Institute of Technology, but we are very cognizant of the fact that the way we become amazing in creativity and entrepreneurship and innovation is we're really embracing a gamut of disciplines, including the arts and sciences. So there's a heavy emphasis that we are placing. So we are launching a new district at Georgia Tech called the Creative Quarters, and where arts is going to be featured quite a bit. And we think this is how we become the #1 university for entrepreneurship and commercialization. And there are a bunch of goals that we are working on. There are sort of 6 thematic areas. One, we're changing culture on campus. If you walk into Georgia Tech, hopefully you do get to visit us. There you'll see the entrepreneurial spirit has dramatically increased. We're doing a lot in terms of progressing technology readiness. We have Mary Albertson here, who's the director of our Office of Technology Licensing. She has been on board for a few years and has completely transformed the culture around intellectual property. And through the Office of Technology Licensing, we are doing quite a bit in terms of helping faculty members advance the technology readiness. I think we've become very smart stewards of intellectual property. This is something we are very give a lot of importance to, which is we don't want to be in the way of our inventors in terms of taking technologies out into the market. We have a bunch of different programs and platforms to launch ventures, and we now have our own investment funds at Georgia Tech to invest in companies that we are spinning out. And we've done 180 plus deals over the last 3 years in terms of investments we've made in our startups. And then finally, we also recognize that commercialization in academia is still largely an open problem. And so we've taken our sort of mission as an academic institution seriously, and we are aggressively publishing as we learn things about commercialization. The good news is all these efforts seem to be paying off. These are some of the numbers. These are from fiscal year 24. So you can see we almost did one invention disclosure day. And I think this year we'll get well past it. We did 100 patents last year and engaged with about 5,000 students. And I mentioned last year we did 120 plus startups. So these are all very, very important for us in terms of metrics, but we think we have a long way to go. This is something we're incredibly proud of, the FNAI rankings. We have climbed up 18 spots in the last 4 years. So we hit 100 patents for the first time. We are 30th in the world, about 20th in the country. But more importantly, the trajectory that we are on, we think of intellectual property as very seriously. I won't go through the details of this slide. We have a pretty rich commercialization ecosystem at Georgia Tech that's sort of structured at 3 layers. The first layer, the innermost layer, is focused on our students and faculty. The second layer is focused on the city and the community. And then the third layer is we try to attract venture capitalists and other service providers from around the country to come to Atlanta. And these are all billion-dollar plus companies that have come out of this ecosystem over the last 10 years. And every single one of them has really, really close ties back to Georgia Tech. And I'll end on this slide. We are incredibly proud of all the amazing successes that our startups are having. These 5 startups that you see are representative of our student startups. We've done about 500 plus ventures over the last 10 years that are founded by our students. The aggregate valuation of these companies is now approaching $3 billion and created a lot of IP, thousands and thousands of jobs right here in Atlanta. And every single one of these companies that you see here is a student startup. I'll give a shout out to the first startup that you see, Hextronics. They make automated battery swapping stations for drones. So if you are sort of familiar with the drone market, the longevity of how much time can a drone be out there without having to come back is a tough problem, challenging problem for many applications, and Hextronics is solving it. A Founders Fund just invested in them, and if you're familiar with the Founders Fund, they invest in companies that they think has the potential to get to $10 billion in valuation. And the 5 tiles that you see at the bottom are representative of our faculty startups. Everything from therapeutics to new types of materials to power amplifiers and using AI for improving radar. Think of a field and one of our labs is working on it. So all of these things we are incredibly proud, and we are so thankful that there is an organization like the FNAI that is convening like-minded people to help universities do a lot better in terms of commercialization and entrepreneurship. With that, this is my email address, siva@gatech.edu. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be in and around many of the sessions, but welcome again to Atlanta and to the conference, and hope you have a wonderful time here.